Welcome to the Sellernomics podcast, where we share valuable tips and information in the Amazon and e-commerce space. Each week, we deliver the best interviews with some of the top Amazon personalities in the industry to help you grow your business. Today's episode is brought to you by GETIDA, the global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements. Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at getida.com/Sellernomics. And now, here are your hosts, Rob Stanley and Lisa Kinski.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Sellernomics. I should be clearer now. I think I had the wrong microphone before.
Let's clear that up.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me better now. Sorry about that. I am your host, Lisa Kinski, joined by my co-host, Rob Stanley. And as always, you guys, we have a really good one for you today. We've got Brent Zahradnik with us from AMZ Pathfinder, and we're going to be talking about how to optimize your Amazon storefront in 2023, along with some other things, driving some external traffic, maybe a little bit of advertising. So buckle up. This is going to be a good one, but let's bring him on. Brent, how are you?
Hey there, I'm doing well. And yeah, you sound great, Lisa.
Oh, thank you. For some reason, StreamYard loves to pick the microphone on my camera instead of my microphone. And I don't know why, because I've literally never deliberately used that microphone. I would love to know. Yeah.
I have the same problem, but now I got this one. So I feel like a real professional.
Like a pro.
I feel like I'm on XM radio or something.
Right? I want to get one of those like cubes with the branding on it so that you look like you're like on newscasting or something like that.
I dig it.
But
so
awesome, Brent.
This is a hot topic. I mean, so Brent, I gotta ask, like, you know, we get a lot of people on, and there's a reason why we have a lot of people on talking about advertising for Amazon sellers and PPC and all that. And, you know, it's such a hot topic. There's a lot of money to be made. You can lose a lot of money in this area, this space. Yeah. Maybe let's start off with a little bit of store optimization tips. You know, let's go into that area, and then I want to pivot into some of these different advertising avenues and maybe some of the pros and cons of them.
Yeah, sure. And let me like set the stage a little bit too, because I think there's some contextualization needed for, you know, why are we talking about storefronts, or why do we talk about listing optimization? I mean, I come at this from an advertising perspective, and that's how we as a company kind of approached it too. So our thesis was basically, okay, the efficiency of ads that you are spending all this money on every month, every week, every day is increased drastically with even a small conversion rate increase. Because what we found, there was a disconnect, right? We were doing a great job with campaigns, keywords, bid management, budgets, all this stuff, advanced targeting. And then it would get to the page and we'd be like, well, this page could be 1%, 2%, 3% better with conversion rate. And our subsequent ad results would be so much better. Also, a high conversion rate is going to lead to what we call like rank persistence. So it's not just throw a bunch of money at something and then it's going to shoot up the ranks on Amazon. But as soon as you turn off that faucet of spend, then, well, you're going to notice it start to slowly creep back down. If you have and maintain a high conversion rate, it's going to lead to more persistence in rank. I kind of look at conversion rate like credibility, right? You're saying to Amazon, like, this is a credible listing. I have a credible product. You can believe me because the numbers behind it actually back it up and like make sense. Is that kind of like, does that make any sense? Like, conversion rate is credibility. You put that on a t-shirt or something.
There you go. That new slogan for you. So let me ask this then. Product listings. How related is a product listing? Like if a product listing is done correctly and it's done right, do you feel like people can spend a little less on ads because it's converting well? Like, I'm kind of looking at it this way. If somebody has a really bad product listing and they're just pumping all this money at advertising, it's like, yeah, you may spend more and not get conversions because you haven't optimized your product listing. Is that kind of true? Do they go hand in hand?
That's a great question, because it is true. So, Amazon's advertising, let's call it ad rank, or their algorithm for that, it's going to favor things that have a higher conversion rate. And therefore, what you're bidding against a position on Amazon advertising is related to the competitive environment. So who are the other players in that space that are trying to get that same ad slot? But that's not the only thing. Like, just because you're like, I'm going to bust in there with like $1.50 bid and someone else is like $1.25 US. If you actually have a better conversion rate, there's still a chance that you can win that auction, because price is not the only thing that's considered. So it is possible for you to have a better conversion rate and end up paying less in the cost per click. And then you're going to have better conversions on the other side. So your ACoS or your will be lower, your ROAS will be higher. All right. So it is possible to do that. Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, let's go back to like the content or listing optimization steps first. And, the biggest part, we take it in order, right, as a company. And this is something we've really pushed on a lot, I would say, in the last like year and a half, 2 years, as we started to hire more people for this internally and train others who are very interested in it and say, hey, you want to follow this passion? Go for it. We know you like ads already, but we had a couple people on the team that were like itching to do this. And so we decided to just go with it. And it really is like a scientific method type thing. So, optimizing on Amazon for listings and storefronts is part art and part science. It's like a little bit of both things. Obviously, the science part is like talking to robots. That is to say, Amazon's A9, and all the like kind of data indexation and like categorization and things that need to occur there. And then the art side of it is like speaking to humans. So ultimately, you need to be found by the robots, categorized, organized correctly to be found by the humans. But then once you're found by the humans, you need to be looking, appealing enough that people will actually buy it. So our process kind of looks like this. You identify a storefront or a product listing that needs help. We can usually see that through our advertising data. Like, ooh, this one here, that's a bit of a red flag because we can tell that the conversion rate is poor and it's actually hurting us. We look at relevant competitors and gather data. We make optimizations based on the different hypotheses we have. Like, oh, this main image can be changed, or we know the bullet points here could be way better. The backend search terms for this particular listing are really lacking or they're poorly done. We monitor the results and use Amazon's like A/B testing, which is built in. Sometimes we just look at data from different time windows. There's a whole 40 minutes discussion we could have on like whether that's a good idea or not. But there are different ways to measure like does this have the desired impact? And then we adjust as required and then just keep like cycling through that same like 4 or 5 steps basically. So that's like a top-down overview on how we look at it from an optimization standpoint.
Can you talk more about what the Amazon A9 is? Because I've heard that before and think that maybe some of the newer sellers might not be as familiar with it. So I want to be sure that we cover that.
Yeah, sure. And actually, one fun fact about A9, there is no A10, there is no A8. It's just A9. And A9 actually started off, I saw a presentation recently about this in person, but A9 started off as like a competitor to Google. And that didn't work out. And then they pivoted and they did other things. And eventually that basically, let's call it discovery and search rank algorithm ended up being what drives a lot of discovery and people's queries for individual search terms on Amazon, right? And A9 actually stands for algorithms. So it's A with 9 letters after it is what I believe A9 actually stands for. So don't believe it when people talk about A10. And the A9 papers, you can actually Google and read. There's a bunch of them that are out there. Some of them are public, not all of them. I think the most recent one I saw at this presentation recently was from like 2016 or 2017. But it basically describes the process by which A9 as an algorithm helps people search and find things on Amazon. What are the factors that Amazon is weighing more heavily or less heavily to determine what things show up? And so one of those things is, I think it's called IDQ, item quality something. Oh, I should really get this one right. But basically it's, does Amazon have all the information that it requires on all the fields in the back end of your particular listing? And basically it's not really a question of quality. It's actually a question of quantity. So like, does Amazon have enough stuff in there? That's like all the different subcategories, all the keywords, everything you might find in a flat file. And if so, then it can start to make decisions on where your product will be found inside of the Amazon, endless shelf ecosystem. And then there's other things like, okay, how many reviews does it have? What kind of conversion rate does it have as of late? What's the sales velocity? Those things are all factored in. So A9 is a massive topic, and it's actually its own, Amazon subsidiary. I think it's used probably in other things too, but it's probably most famous because it gets talked about a lot in the Amazon FBA 3P and vendor space, because that's something that we all contend with every single day.
And I just looked it up. IDQ is item data quality.
Data quality. Oh, Lisa, you're saving my bacon. Thank you.
Very close. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, so what are some of the things that have like maybe been different, or because Amazon's always come out with like new tools and new ways that sellers can optimize like their listings and their storefronts. Like, what's the number one thing that sellers should be focusing on for 2023? And when we're recording this, we're coming up on Prime Day. It will be past by the time we release, but maybe forward thinking for the holiday season.
Q4.
Yeah, Q4 obviously a big time of year, Prime as well. But I will say the thing that's been the most exciting for me, and I've been in the Amazon space since 2015 actually, so quite a while, and I've witnessed Amazon go from a company that played everything very close to the chest. If they were playing poker, they had their cards like this. They could barely see them. Certainly other people couldn't. To being a company that has all these different dashboards that are inside, what's broadly speaking like brand analytics. Search query performance is like a huge one. Just the search terms dashboard that shows you what are the most popular things week to week, month to month. All of these things were unthinkable in 2017, 2016, even 2018. And now all those are available. So these data points that Amazon is making more and more open. Another good example. Recently, they started to put this tag on some listings that's like 100 units sold in the last week or month. They do either one. It depends on the category. But that also gives us like a very, I wouldn't say like spot on, but like very approximate measure of like how fast these things are selling. So all these data signals that Amazon is using to kind of enrich their search results, in addition to the ones that they're giving people that have brand registry, all add up in aggregate along with third-party tools like a Jungle Scout or Helium 10 or whatever to give a very complete like data landscape, if you will. So these are all things that we're trying to adopt and use as best we can because finally we have the ability to see what the real numbers are behind competitors or our own products in Amazon's eyes. So I'm not sure if that answers the question exactly, but those are the things that I would encourage everybody listening to this to dive into because, well, one thing, they're free. Brand analytics stuff, that data in there is free. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have a level of competency with spreadsheets and you can download those and format them properly, you can get a lot of interesting information out of all these new reports. So I would definitely encourage people to, sink time and energy into that. And then pairing that with some of these paid third-party tools will allow you to get quite a lot of data, let's say depth and richness, I suppose the term would be.
Nice. And Brent, when people are getting started, they tend to kind of start with like the PPC, right? They'll turn on PPC, start doing PPC. As they kind of get through that PPC sort of phase and start learning it a little bit more, there, there's other options out there. There, sponsored ads, Amazon DSP. I think even earlier where we're talking a little bit about even driving some external traffic from Google ads. Where is like the next move for an Amazon seller after they've kind of, I don't think we want to use the word mastered PPC because I don't think anybody's actually mastered it, but have an understanding of PPC. What is the next sort of ad area they should jump into?
Yeah, I agree with you. Amazon PPC is like a lifelong pursuit. It's so many areas of gray there too. So let me run you by a thesis that I have recently. I know I've said that word a lot, but I like to think about things a bit scientifically like this. And Amazon in 2023, and this is going to be true whenever this is released as well. This is, I think, something that's going to be the case for many years. Amazon is starting to reward external traffic in various ways more and more. I think part of the thesis here is that Amazon PPC by itself is no longer enough. If you already have a very, let's say, mature set of campaigns and they're running well, they're hitting your objectives, you're close enough, and they're contributing to your overall sales on Amazon, it's a healthy contributing part of your account, you should probably start to look externally. And this back to this idea, external traffic is rewarded in several ways. What are those ways? The one I can think of would be brand referral bonus. You guys know what brand referral bonus is? Mm-hmm. I'm seeing some nodding. Yeah, you guys are savvy as can be.
Slightly. Go ahead and explain it to those who don't know, though.
Okay, sure. And then this is going to get a little bit technical, but basically, brand referral bonus is Amazon saying, "Hey, we will give you roughly, it depends on the category, 10% back of the revenue that you create from traffic that you've driven from external sources." Now, that could be Google Ads, which is our favorite at Pathfinder. It could be Instagram, Facebook, email, whatever. As long as you're using Amazon's attribution tool, which is free, and you've enrolled in the brand referral bonus, and you're one of the marketplaces that uses it, which I think right now is mostly North America, including Canada, Mexico, and the US. you basically get some of that money back. Amazon puts that brand referral bonus money back into your account, and it's kept in a separate little like allocation. They don't just like toss it into your bank account. They say, all right, hey, this money is going to be sequestered over here. And then when you have a referral fee or a category fee that you pay as a 3P seller on Amazon, the money that's in that little separate balance, it gets deducted from there instead. So effectively, you're saving money on the referral fees and category fees that you would pay, you know, whether that's 8 to 15%, depending on the category in Amazon, right? So that stuff that would usually be taken out of your margin, just because you've bothered to set up external campaigns and drive them to Amazon, you're getting some of that money back. Kind of sounds like GETIDA, actually, in a way. you're getting a little bit of money back. It's not so bad. And
they go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's really a nice thing, isn't it? So, you know, this is yet again not something that Amazon's going to put a direct distribution to your bank account, but you are effectively earning that money back. And so this is another one of these. Why would Amazon do this? Why are they giving you this like free money back? Well, it's because they want to incentivize sellers, 3P sellers, to send external traffic. There's also algorithmic rewards with this too, sending external traffic. So if you're sending consistent, good conversion rate external traffic to listings, Amazon's going to help you rank. We've observed this in our own work, specifically with Google to Amazon, which is our big thing these days that we're really pushing hard on. Basically, the idea there is, you know, Google Ads is really similar to Amazon Ads. It's keyword based, it's search intent based. It can be bottom to mid funnel if you think about a marketing funnel, right, and how that kind of goes down. And so what you're doing by running these Google Ads and sending that traffic to Amazon with the attribution and the brand referral bonus turned on, don't forget that, so you get that 10% roughly, is you're channeling this demand. So you're taking shoppers and people searching on the Google channel and just saying, okay, hey, why don't you come over here to our Amazon store? And then they say, oh, I know Amazon. I shop on Amazon all the time. Right. Now I've just clicked on this ad. And because the ad said, you know, you have to make sure that the copy in the ad is clear such that people understand they're going to Amazon. But then they'll click that Google search ad. They'll end up on Amazon. They'll say, this is what I was looking for. I put in blue running shoe, and now I've clicked on this. I have a selection of running shoes. One of them is blue. I'm on this listing on Amazon. This looks good. Add to cart, buy. And then that's all attributed through either a third-party software or Amazon's attribution. And yeah, you get the brand referral bonus. You get the algorithmic boost because you converted an external customer, potentially a new customer, maybe an existing customer. But yeah, Amazon likes that a lot. So this is something we're pushing on super hard these days.
That's awesome, Brent. We're actually going to take a quick break here from our sponsor. When we come back, I want to talk more about driving external traffic. So we'll be back in just a second.
Today's episode is brought to you by GETIDA, the global leader in FBA auditing and reimbursements. Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at GETIDA.com/Sellernomics.
All right, you guys, head to GETIDA.com/Sellernomics for that first 400 in free FBA reimbursements. Again, we are talking with Brent Zahradnik with AMZ Pathfinder, a little bit about listing optimization and storefront optimization, but now really focusing on driving external traffic to your Amazon store. So you've already spoken on being a real fan and a big proponent of Google Ads. What about Bing Ads? I feel like I keep seeing that as a topic in some of the Amazon seller like Facebook and LinkedIn groups. What's your opinion on those?
I think that Bing Ads is kind of like Walmart ads to Amazon. It's like something that everyone should probably try, especially if you're selling on Walmart, right? You should definitely try the ads there. But I'm not sure if the ecosystem and the spend capacity is anywhere near what Amazon and Google have. You know, that's like the obvious mating together for us. We have actually not tried Bing. So that's a really great question, Lisa, but I can't speak to it directly. I've not tried it. The other one that excites me would probably be Pinterest, actually. And as of this recording, Amazon recently announced a partnership with Pinterest, just very recently, like the last couple of days. So basically, that means that Amazon ads will be showing up on Pinterest, and there'll probably be some tighter integration and better reporting between those two platforms. Now, when that might happen might actually be closer to later this year in 2023. But that one's got me, that's got me really excited too, because I think Pinterest is such a visual platform. Like, you know, we're talking about Google search, and that's mostly, for the most part, you know, text based, right? People are typing stuff in Google. You have a list of websites, and then the ads themselves are text with the occasional image extension on there. So you do see some products, and we use that feature, of course, but a lot of times it's just text. Pinterest, on the other hand, is its own like visual ecosystem. And while I'm not a frequent Pinterest user, I've certainly been on the website many, many times just from Google searches because you end up there.
Yeah.
And yeah, if people are looking at home decor, home and kitchen, design, decoration, I think there are some categories on Amazon that are like absolute perfect fit for that. And those are huge, categories on Amazon. I think home and kitchen is maybe like one of the biggest categories on Amazon that 3P sellers and businesses we work with are in. So that to me is a natural fit for Pinterest.
Yeah,
but I can't speak to Bing.
1000%. On the topic of Pinterest, I'm nodding ferociously because I just redid my kitchen and I modeled it after a kitchen I found on Pinterest. And like the drawer pulls and everything. And it's like, if that's just linked directly into that image, then that's a win-win. It's like, if you want your kitchen to look like this, here's the things to make your kitchen look like this. I'm very excited for that integration with Pinterest, because I remember in its early days, I was in high school when Pinterest kind of like caught fire, and it was infuriating that you would find a pin and you could not find where to buy it. It was just an image. It was so upsetting. So that's really exciting to have.
Right. That is such a good point. And I was just thinking that like a second after you said it, I was like, yeah, because there never was a discovery method before, but now there could be. And actually that takes us back to another thing, which is the Amazon storefronts, right? So to tie these two things together, what we do when we send external traffic is we send it to one of two places. We send it to the product detail page, which is just, the Amazon product listing, or we send it to the storefront. So if we've done a decent job optimizing the storefront, what you should have is different, navigational areas on that storefront. So to continue with this like running shoe example, I don't know why I'm on running shoes. I don't even like running. I'm a cyclist. I hate running actually. But let's say like there's running, and then they have recovery, like muscle massage rollers, and then they have like nutrition. So that brand could have a whole like different like lineup of things that appeal to the same customer avatar, right? So maybe running shoes is just one of the things they offer. If you do a good job of building your storefront, you'll have distinct areas in the storefront where you can send that external traffic. So if someone is looking for shoes, you send them to the shoe page. If someone is looking for nutrition, you send them to the nutrition page. If they're looking for muscle recovery, you send them to that page. And what's great about storefronts is they're totally absent of any competitors, right? So you don't have any competitor ads on there that are taking away attention from the people that are on there landing on that page. So if someone lands on a product detail page where they're like, oh, this is a cool product, but there's an ad at the top, there's an ad halfway down, there's a bunch of ads at the bottom. Mm-hmm. So you might be sending water to a leaky bucket, to make like a water analogy. You're putting it in here, and then, there's a hole. So some of those people you sent are actually going to go to another page. They might convert somewhere else. With store pages, it's a more clear value proposition, because you can show them whatever you want. Here's an awesome video. Here's great lifestyle photos. Here's a whole catalog of the stuff we have. And to go back to this idea with Pinterest, they have shoppable, clickable images with storefronts. This has been around for a while, but it's something we love to use. So imagine you have a great lifestyle shot, and then you say, okay, if someone hovers their mouse or taps on their mobile on this, it's going to like show them what the product is, and they can add to cart right there, or it's going to take them to the product detail page. They can continue their investigation and check out there. So that kind of shoppable image, I'm just imagining a future where maybe that is also happening on Pinterest because they have an integration with Amazon, or because you're able to run ads on Pinterest from inside of the advertising console, which is the Amazon ad console that we all know and love already.
Yeah. Brent, I want to add a little something. I just not too long ago did a presentation on external traffic to Amazon. And one of the things I did mention was Pinterest, and start taking advantage of Pinterest now. And I also tied that in actually with an AI tool called booth.ai, which will allow you to take your product and immediately generate, I don't know if it's hundreds, but dozens of images that are lifestyle images with your product in that image. And I haven't had a chance to really dive too deep in it, where it's one of those things, go check it out, see if it works for you, but check out booth.ai to be able to create immediately a bunch of Pinterest images that you could start putting up on Pinterest, and then link them back, or somehow, have them interact with going to your Amazon store. So that's something that, maybe people could take advantage of. And we see that coming.
Booth, Booth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Like phone booth.
Yeah. Booth.ai is the name of it. Again, haven't had a chance to use it, but check it out, because you could isolate your product image, and then it'll immediately start generating a bunch of lifestyle images with your product in it. So I thought that was really cool to be able to do quick ones to use for Pinterest.
That's
So,
wild.
just
And
something to
one
take a
question,
look at.
Rob, is it
Yeah.
using like a generative AI, like a mid journey, whatever those are called, like one of those to make the image?
I
Is
don't.
that why it's a .ai?
Yeah, so I haven't crawled kind of in behind the scenes of it yet to see exactly what they're doing. Midjourney, I think, is a little more deep because it's kind of generating a new whole thing, whereas this is taking your product and putting it into a lifestyle situation. So I don't know if it's generating the lifestyle or if it just has a bunch of pre-formatted ones that it's using to kind of, and you have to give it a little bit of information. But if anybody's interested, go check it out, BOOTH.ai. I don't get anything from sending you over there. Just if you find one better, drop a message to myself or any of us on here, because I'd like to know, or what the experience they've had with it. But there's a lot of AI kind of coming up with this. So let's just pivot. I know this is not your specialties, but I'm just kind of curious. What have you seen kind of on the AI side that maybe is starting to help some of these Amazon sellers with some of these sponsored ads or driving external traffic? What have you kind of seen? Brent?
Oh yeah,
Brent, go ahead.
mean, this is obviously a hot topic, and I think will remain so going forward. In fact, my joke is that AI has done more for Amazon sellers and e-commerce in 6 months than crypto's done in the last like 15 years, which I think is absolutely true. Because it's just been amazing. Like someone asked me the other day, like, what do you think about AI? Is it like useful? And I was like, is it useful? Like we're already using it. Like, is it useful? Yeah, the answer is absolutely yes. There's a couple tools I can think of. I won't name any names, but like that we're already using that have AI partially integrated into their listing optimization workflows. So that's been huge. I think it's been great for iterating on ad copy. We've definitely used it for that. Like, hey, give me a list of like different headlines under this many characters. The product benefits are X, Y, and Z. This is what it's used for. And then take that and iterate. What I love about these generative AI, let's say, ChatGPT and similar 3.5, 4.0, which is out recently as of this recording, is they are great for doing like that 80% of the work. And then you as a human use your curation knowledge and take it like that last 15, 20%. But it gets you over the hump of like doing all that intro work and let's call it like more grunt work. So yeah, we're using it in multiple ways already. I think the one thing we haven't figured out is kind of what you just mentioned, which is like, how do we generate images with products? So maybe I'll have to use the Booth one there. Or how do we come up with like creative and lifestyle things? Because I think some of the AI image generation is not quite there yet. It's not fully baked.
Yeah.
It's 90%, and that last 10% is going to take a while before they get the hands right and people's expressions and stuff like that. It looks kind of uncanny valley, and people can tell. But when it comes to anything
missing
textual,
finger.
yeah, it's a bit like, yeah, you buy our tea and then you'll have 6 fingers. Wait, no, that's not that's not the message we want to, not the message we want to send exactly. Using this. But yeah, I mean, we've used it for ad purposes too. So okay, here, come up with a list of relevant keywords. Come up with a list of irrelevant keywords we might be able to set as negatives. Ad copy, like I mentioned, listing optimization, like I kind of went over. So yeah, it's already in use at Pathfinder for sure. And I think any agency is probably, allocating some budget, energy, and time towards using it. So yeah, you're right. I don't consider myself an AI expert, and I have to give, shout out to the senior account managers and the people doing listing optimization on my team, because they're more in the weeds with that than I am. But I see the stuff that they do, and I see the AI channel we have in Slack where we discuss these things and share examples. And I'm very excited about that. It's really fun. I think actually I have one thing I thought to myself the other day, which is like, if I started a new company, I think I would just start an AI based company. That seems to be what everyone's doing, because it seems to be the area with the most potential growth in it. And I think that it's going to go a long way. I also wonder, actually, what is your advantage as a seller from, let's just say more broadly speaking, the West, right? If we're talking about Europe, North, Central, South America, versus Chinese factories that are manufacturing things, directly. If they're able to use AI, what is your moat as a seller? What difference do you have? I think a lot of people need to think carefully about that, because if a Chinese factory that has the best sourcing costs possible is now able to use AI and come up with titles and copy and bullet points and everything that's really good, that starts to erode some of the spelled correctly, even maybe a brand name that doesn't look like just a bunch of numbers smashed together or letters smashed together. But just imagine that's the case, right? What is your moat as a business owner on Amazon? It has to be just better products, better, more consistent branding. So I think that's a discussion that probably could take another 40 minutes. But, I would encourage everyone to think about that, because you can see the trend lines with where AI is going and how that could be something in the future that could come up.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. I think you're right. That could be a whole nother 40 minutes, but I think we'll transition now into learning more about AMZ Pathfinder. We might be able to have you on later on in the year to talk about just that, but let's learn more about AMZ Pathfinder. Tell us more about what you guys do, how folks can get in touch, all that good stuff.
Yeah, sure thing. So, like I mentioned earlier, we've been around since 2015 when I started the company, just doing solo consulting for people on Amazon, met them on Facebook groups and stuff. And since then, I've kind of grown it. We're, 23, 24 people now. We're mostly based in Europe. All of us speak English in addition to, I think, 12 or 11 other languages. We cover all the European ones and a couple others that aren't even Amazon marketplaces yet. And yeah, we're primarily focused on three big things. So listing, content optimization, advertising, and external traffic. Those are the three areas that we provide by far the most value for our clients. That's basically a fair summary of us, I would say. And really this year, I am extremely focused on the listing optimization and external traffic components, because I'm just a big believer that those are going to be where a lot of our clients and prospective clients are going to see the biggest gains. All the benefits that Amazon is putting towards external traffic, we're trying to take advantage of early and often, because I think that it's going to be more mainstream by the time this year is over. But right now, it's not really used. And I have to do a lot of education on this. So I talk about it, on stage and on podcasts and stuff like that, because I'm trying to spread the word on this concept.
Yeah, and you had just done a mastermind prior to this too, so pushing out that content, that's great stuff. Where can folks get a hold of you and learn more?
Yeah, sure. So you can go to amzpathfinder.com. You can email us at hello@amzpathfinder.com, and you can get in touch with me in particular at brent.bike. So thank you for putting that on screen. Yeah, that's basically like one of those like link tree websites, except I just made it myself. Yep. So you can go there and find me on social or whatever. And yeah, it's .bike because I'm a big cyclist too. So that's usually one of my big takeaways. So people remember who the heck I am. Oh yeah, he's that guy who's always on the bike. He's a cyclist. So yeah, .bike.
Gotcha. That's Brent.bike. And then if you guys want to find AMZ Pathfinder directly, again, amzpathfinder.com. It is spelled exactly how it sounds. And you can reach out at hello@amzpathfinder.com. Brent, thank you so much for your time today. I mean, definitely we could have covered way, way more. And we might just have to have you on a little bit later in the year. But you said that you're doing a lot of speaking. Any upcoming engagements maybe in the end of the year, or we'll have to wait and see?
I'm doing a good number of them in June and July, so they might already be over by this time. I'm going to be in Brighton in the UK in early October, and then I'm going to be in Asia for a bit in October and November at several conferences there. Not all of them related to Amazon, though. But yeah, the majority of speaking is happening in June and July. Travel going on then. Going to be visiting some new cities. Really excited for Tel Aviv. So yeah, a bunch of places on my list.
Awesome. Very exciting. Well, and again, you guys can keep up with Brent on the socials at brent.bike. So Brent, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Rob.
All right. Brent. Thank you for everybody who tuned in today. We will see you on the next one.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sellernomics podcast. Special thanks to our sponsor, GETIDA. Did you know that Amazon probably owes you money for FBA reimbursements? Get $400 in free FBA reimbursements at GETIDA.com/Sellernomics. Be sure to join us again next week for more great tips on how to grow your business. And thanks again for listening.